2022, 121 tiger died. Tell me why government is not doing anything.
Very strict protocols. You can't even take your phone in some of them, like Powderbar.
When the tourists come, they make lots of pollution.
It made me realize that's not me. That was someone projecting their views on me. That is nothing to do with actually our culture.
But you convince her to be a face of your brand.
Yeah.
How?
Like she's so humble. I don't think she sees herself as Kareena Kapoor. She sees herself as just a normal person. I don't know, such a dream to work with. So it's been a dream come true working with Kareena. And that becomes maybe not the right intentions.
Welcome to the Yogii Show. Today, I have a guest, Akash Mehta. He's very known in London and he's doing a fantastic job. So please help me to welcome Akash Mehta on the Yogii Show.
Thanks so much for having me.
How are you doing, Akash, today?
Very good, Yogesh. How are you?
Amazing. Would you like to introduce yourself to my viewers, please?
Yeah, as you know, I'm Akash Mehta, currently living in London, but I would consider myself a global citizen because I love traveling around the world, but more importantly, I love traveling to the wild. So I have a bit of a wild heart, big passion for wildlife, and we'll talk about that in a bit. But in terms of what's on my CV, I'm currently the CEO and co-founder of Fable Mane, which is an Ayurvedic care wellness brand, and the founder of the Fable Fund, which is a wildlife conservation fund focused on helping human-wildlife coexistence.
That's really interesting.
But a bit about me personally is I love escape rooms, I love traveling, hiking, and love a good games night. That's a bit about me.
And I'm really impressed with what you're doing for the wildlife sanctuary.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Perfect. So should we start?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Let's do it. So Akash, as a school student, did you ever dreamed of making a brand which is really known right now in the world? Did you ever thought like, oh, that's a movement. I'm not making a brand. I'm going to do it.
So I'll be honest, growing up, I didn't actually dream about having my own brand. And this is a little bit, fast forward today, I will get into it a bit, but this is why I decided to really now focus a lot of my next kind of couple of years into conservation, because growing up, my dream as a child was to really be a wildlife.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say necessarily a conservationist because at that age I didn't really understand. I think it was just to be a wildlife lover. Like I was obsessed with, all the BBC Earth shows and visiting the wild. And the closest thing for me as a child was like maybe the local sanctuaries or farms. So it was only through my grandma's stories as I was being read them growing up that I started to understand about this tiger in the forest and maybe the wildlife in Africa and India, which I didn't yet have a chance to visit.
Okay.
So there's always this curiosity. And then school happened. It's good at math and physics, a good typical Indian kid, I guess. And naturally I thought, you know what, maybe engineering is pretty good.
Okay. I
started to convince myself, maybe, working for NASA would be my dream. So all my internships as a kid in my teenage years was like in BMW, Airbus.
Okay.
I did about 13 internships before I went to university.
Wow.
Most summers I would take a week or two and just work. And my parents were like, you're crazy, like enjoy your summer now. And I'm like, no, I want to like experience life.
So you've always been that hardworking person?
Always been a little bit too hardworking, workaholic, some would say. But I always didn't feel it was work. I felt it was like working on myself, which I feel you become more fulfilled, more happier, more joyful. So I didn't feel like a tiring chore. It felt like something that was, why wouldn't you want to like spend your summer, trying something new then instead of just staying on a beach, lying in, I'm an Indian, I don't even sit there anyway. So I think that's something that life happened slowly and, you start to go on different paths that you don't expect. And then you open your eyes and suddenly you're creating shampoos and conditioners, which I love. And I think you're allowed to love many things. But ultimately, my biggest childhood passion was wildlife.
That's interesting. Today, the young generation, let's say Gen Z, scroll on Instagram.
Yeah.
They look at the code of being successful, how to become a successful, but you live that life. Today, I can say like you're a really successful businessman. So how do you feel like that? And what if someone like me or some of my viewers wants to be successful like you? What's the top 3 non-filtered advice you will give?
I think first, success personally only matters once you know how you're defining those pillars. So yes, on average, majority of people would deem a successful business the revenue it does or how many years it's still in business, For me, it was never that. Success was always how happy I am while building it and what impact I've done in the world through the creation of the business and how my team are feeling every day and how I'm feeling. So I think that was success for me because again, business is a state of life, you know?
Yeah.
I didn't want to be this temporal moment that you create revenue and you sell it and you leave. That's not success. That's for me that's just a medium of a data that you're defining and collecting. But how is that for me a success story within my heart? So I think it's sometimes a challenge because a lot of people don't define that as success. When I get asked that question, it's always like, you know, you see business books as well, and it's always about like making $1 million quick and how much revenue have you made? You're so successful. And I'm always like, let's go back a bit. Like, you know, success isn't defined like that for me. But luckily, I would say, you know, touch wood, the business is able to still succeed today because we have grown in revenue and we've grown in size, and we're nearly 40 people now from 3 people 5 years ago. And that's, I think, just been a testament to the brand. And I think sometimes we as brand founders need to be reminding ourselves, like, we are custodians of this brand. Like, I'm a fan of my own brand and it's growing bigger than, you know, I can do. It's like a kid, you know, you can't just control it. Your kid will surprise you. Your kid will grow beyond your kind of teachings. And Fable Mane is exactly that, where I'm in awe of what it's doing every day because it's not built by just me anymore. It's built by our whole community.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
You know, most entrepreneurs, they chase for the money. They chase for the numbers and profit. But you decided to invest that money in saving animals. Yeah. Why? Why you want to do that?
So, you know, we're going to be announcing in January 2026 the exact amount that we're committing. So that's really exciting. And there's going to be, you know, a nice big, I think, mic drop for the industry to be like, hey, let's like start while building, give a bit of revenue of our businesses to our purpose, because often it's done at the point of sale, or it's done a bit later, or it's done as an afterthought, but you have to build it with the right foundations. So I can't wait to announce all of that soon. But for me, I think it's doing it in stages. Like, our first stage was really defining our purpose, which took us, like, before we launched, a lot of, you know, time. Me and my sister spent a while understanding why we're putting a tiger as a logo, you know, why we created the Fable Fund, which now I'm the one kind of running it day to day. And then setting up the back end of what is a charity that we wanted to create, which jurisdictions do we want it to have, and how is it set up on the back end, which takes a couple of years. You know, it took us 2-3 years to register a charity in India. That takes time. And then, you know, a little bit drip feeding the revenue, the money, donations. This year we've done about $300,000, and you know, we're testing the partners on the ground, testing what we're doing. We don't want to run before we walk. So it's only after 5 years we're like now announcing the fund in its glory, and then the commitments Fable Mane is doing, because I didn't want to launch day one with that, because I don't know what, you know, where the money would have gone if I just launched day one. I needed to test this stuff, and it takes time. So I do think people shouldn't rush their purpose, and if they end up creating their own NGO, take your time, due diligence, have your processes, because you need to make sure that you've got trust and authenticity and accountability when you create something in the public domain. You know, UNICEF and all these amazing charities didn't happen overnight, right?
Which is your favorite animal?
For me, I would say my favorite animal is definitely, it's a hard one because the obvious answer is a tiger. But I love all big cats, leopards, cheetahs.
So we got one gift for you.
What do you have?
Can I give you?
Yeah.
Oh, there. I got one gift for you.
Oh. Guys, this is awesome. It's very... the Yogii Show. No. This is the one you have on you?
Yeah, that's the same one.
Oh my gosh.
I love leopard, tiger.
This is stunning. I can't accept this, but I will accept this because I really want to have this. And there's a really sweet message. Dear Akash, this leopard brooch is a small token of appreciation for the big impact you're making in the world. Your dedication to wildlife conservation and your inspiring journey reminds us that true leadership is about protecting those who cannot speak for themselves. Thank you for being a voice for nature and an inspiration for so many. With respect and gratitude, the Yogii Show. That's so sweet. Thank you. I will cherish this forever, and I will wear this right now because
thank you so much.
We'll be matching, and this is something that I remember when I first saw you at one of the events a month ago, 2 months ago. I saw you had this brooch, and I was super like envious. I was like,
so this one I'm wearing to promote the place called the Yogii Dam, which is very close to my hometown. And that's to promote the tourism, to promote the leopard there. And it's a very beautiful place. You should visit someday.
I will visit. I would love to visit with you. Number one.
Definitely. I would love to take you
And
around.
this means a lot. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
This is such a treat.
Okay, so moving on to other thing.
Yeah.
Do you know India
Yes.
is a home of 70% of world tiger?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yet, in 2022, 121 tiger died.
Yeah.
Tell me why government is not doing anything, and if you get a chance to do something for those tigers in India, what will you do?
So I'll start by saying that the government, and I've done a lot of time on the ground, especially around the tiger corridors. The governments are doing a lot of great work.
Yeah.
I think the issue is they are not able to do it at the frequency that maybe the issues are rising.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these stories are happening, you know, in the remote areas, in remote villages, which are hard to reach, hard to get information quick enough, and maybe we're a bit too late. So I think maybe I would say everyone, all the stakeholders, there's a lot of stakeholders, including myself now.
Yeah.
We need to work a little bit on areas first that are maybe with emerging conflict, because if you kind of stop it or diminish it at the earlier stages, you avoid issues happening later. When you have high conflict zones where there's already a lot of human-wildlife interaction, and in remote areas and thousands of villages around the whole of India, it's so hard with resources, with people, with time, and also with, honestly, with having respect, because you can't just always be there. You've got to let the villagers live in their own way to, you know, control it. So my job is to come, and I focus a lot with the fund on human-wildlife conflict, is to do two-pronged. One is go to areas with emerging conflicts, so mitigate it, have corridors, have systems put into place where we can avoid issues where tigers are being poisoned, killed, or, you know, hurt, or even naturally, you know, in disasters just because of the way the current systems are built. But also mitigate any current emerging conflicts that are happening. So, you know, recently I went to one of the tiger reserves, and, you know, I was seeing news about, is this a natural death or whatever? But I found out it was a human-wildlife conflict death of a tiger. And it infuriates me. Like, we are in 2025.
Yeah.
There used to be 100,000 tigers in the wild 100 years ago. There's less than 4,000 now. Yes, they're on the rise, so this is great, but it's still a very, very unstable situation for tigers right now. And we can't just be like, okay, it's rising, we're good. It can go back like it did 100 years ago. So we need to monitor, and we need to do a bit better. But we need funds. And I think that's where Fable Fund is helping, where I'm able to provide the funds to local partners on the ground that need the resources to do their work.
Yeah.
So
let's talk about, like I was mentioning about Yogii Dam in Rajasthan.
Yes.
Yeah? So Yogii Dam is famous for leopard, but right now there's lots of hotel resort. These things are coming out. Do you think the tourism will kill the leopards and the ecosystem? Because the expert says if it's not going to stop, sooner or later, the leopard will start leaving the place and it's going to destroy the ecosystem.
Yeah. It's a hard balance. It really depends on case by case, because there are some areas where having tourism on majority of the cases is a great thing, because it's increased investment, increased awareness. You know, they hire local staff, they bring money to the town. Yeah. They are allowing for maybe ecotourism, which is giving more love to the species and protection mechanisms. But there's also cases where, if you're creating a new development and that's causing some of the local wildlife to then disperse and maybe interact more with the villages locally, that's causing more human-wildlife conflict. So it's not as simple as saying one blanket approach. And obviously for me, I'm not educated enough by all the situations to say this is this, this is that. I think we have to take things case by case, understand what is the situation, how can we mitigate the risks. But I'm more in the realm of, I'm very pro this tourism, because I think this is giving some diligence to an awareness to the governments and the local towns and village leaders to make sure that, hey, now people are coming, there's more media, there's more awareness. You've got to make sure we don't have conflict.
When the tourists come, they make lots of pollution.
Yes, but you have to know India tourism, you know, for wildlife, they're very small lodges. We're talking like maybe 30 rooms, and you know, it's a lot more of a luxury as well, because it's normally quite expensive sometimes. And I think there's a lot of respect in generalness. There's a lot of a lot of the tiger reserves or safari reserves, you know, you have very strict protocols. You can't even take your phone in some of them, like Tauraba. and they monitor speed of vehicles, they monitor noise pollution, they monitor litter pollution. So I do think there's a lot of great work. But my biggest story is it's actually not these areas where they're the forest guards and there's already existing reserves, because they have a lot of funding, a lot of work. It's the remote areas which are far from any local hotel, local tourism, that's where the human conflict is happening. And that's where I tend to go. And trust me, I wish sometimes there were nice hotels, because when I visit, I'm staying sometimes in small huts for 3-4 days because it's so remote. That's where I'm seeing a lot of conflict right now.
Do you know, like there's resort owners or hotel owners, they are making on the edge where the leopards or tigers are walking, and they want to give that view to their tourists to impress them.
That's something that, it's sad when it's not done in an eco-ethical way. My recommendation is always hiring the right team and even consultants on projects. There are amazing roles in the conservation space. There's ecological economists, there's, different roles that probably people don't realize that they should be hiring to do some governance on projects, to make sure, is it a high risk, low risk? Is it empowering the wildlife? Is it not? Then once I have evidence, I think all of those can exist. But right now, I think, as you said, there are a lot popping up left, right, and center, and not necessarily all of them have the right governance. And I think African safari is probably the leader of this. You saw all these amazing, videos and photos of like these viral hotels that are like, wake up to this view of this elephant drinking in your local water. And of course, every tourist is like, dream, I want to do this. And even me included, for me, to be able to have proximity but still know it's safe and not close is why we go on safaris, right?
Yeah. I've seen people, feeding the grass to the giraffe.
Yeah. And there's a difference between sanctuaries and conservation resorts and natural habitats. And I think there's a place for all of them to play, because ultimately we want to encourage love for these species and we want to encourage safety for these species. And sometimes if it's in a sanctuary, it's rescued and, you're able to feed the small elephant that's lost its mother, but you're raising funds for the space to survive. Yeah. Who's to say it's a bad thing, right? Because it's needed. But it's so complex. So all I ask is it's not really about understanding this in a black and white way where it's like this or that. It's just about making sure everyone is doing the right diligence to have all the stakeholders in conversation. Don't just create a hotel without speaking to local wildlife conservation charities,
Do you
local
think,
guards.
In India, there's a Vantara by Reliance?
Yes.
If you heard about it.
Yes.
Do you think they're doing a great job for the wildlife?
Right now, I don't make any judgment until I visited. So I would love to see Vantara and understand more. What I'm proud of what Vantara is doing is they are, spending revenue and money and helping rehabilitation and conservation efforts. Now, that's not my area of expertise. I'm more in human wildlife conflict. So I'm more on the ground in the village. I'm not in necessarily the sanctuary space. But I'm very curious to see. I've heard a lot of mixed opinions online, so I've yet to make an opinion on it.
Recently there was a controversy about the elephant.
And so I feel like I'm in the space of give everyone love. Conflict is what I see every day in the wild, so I don't want to give conflict out of the wild too. And it's easy for everyone to judge and to make a comment. And ultimately, what Anant and the Vantara people are doing is, I think, in their heart, is to make wildlife safer. And why, as someone who's doing the same, why wouldn't I want to give love to that? Unless I physically see evidence of malpractice, I've yet to make an assumption or judgment. But if they invite me, I would love to see what they're doing.
Definitely one day.
And for now, my focus is not really there, but my focus is on the wild.
Perfect. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Kareena Kapoor.
Yeah, Kareena.
I'm a big fan of her. And there's thousands of people that are big fan of her. But you convince her to be a face of your brand.
Yeah.
How?
So I'll be honest, she reached out to us.
Oh, wow.
And it was the most crazy message. So I got a LinkedIn message from someone in her team, and it was like, Kareena is interested in your brand and would love to speak to you guys. And I remember sending a screenshot to my marketing team, and I was like, I think this is scam. Like, it can't be true. Like, what? Kareena Kapoor Khan, and like, why would she come across our brand? You know, how does she find it? And I ended up replying, having a call, and we were told the story of like how she saw us in Selfridges for the first time.
Okay.
And she was like picking up the product. She was like, oh, this is from India. Like, this is interesting, the ingredients. And she was like, what is this brand? And who are these founders? And she started like researching all about it. And then she was like, yeah, this is a bit of me. This really resonates with who she stands for. And she wanted to find out if we would be willing to have her as
How's
a
it
face.
working with her?
And it has been the biggest joy. Like, it's been the easiest. See, I don't like the words, like, while we call her our ambassador, it doesn't feel like a corporate, sponsorship gig. It feels like a true family. I'm not saying we're like family where I'm like my sister, where I call her every day. I wish I could. She's very busy. But when I'm with her, it's like I feel so calm. I feel so seen, and I feel so valued as a brand founder, as a human. She's one of the few, I would say, Bollywood icons that I've met, and I haven't met many, but that I don't feel has had the industry get to her. Like, she's so humble, and so I don't think she sees herself as Kareena Kapoor Khan. She sees herself as just a normal person.
Is it?
And I think that's why it's been such a joy, because that's what Fable Mane is about.
So who's your favorite Bollywood star?
Kareena Kapoor Khan, I would say. Yeah, and Alia is amazing. To be fair, I think all of them have been great. The ones I've met, I've been lucky.
Whom did you meet?
I've met Kareena, Alia. I've met I don't know many. I've met like Aishwarya.
Oh wow, okay.
I've met, but when I say meet, there's a difference between in terms of spoken to.
Yeah.
Like, I've met like some of the newer ones, but in terms of met, like Aishwarya, Preeti Zinta, Rani, Kajol, that's just seen at like events and like maybe said hi, or like Katrina Kaif I've met, had a photo, but I wouldn't say I've spoken to, because for me, that's just a hi, bye.
How's they as a person?
All amazing. I mean, I'm a bit too much of a positive soul. So for me, I'm always like, yep, great vibe, like them. So I think like, I just have seen a lot of stories of like how media portrays Bollywood stars, and so I don't have much experience, but when I got the chance to meet Kareena Kapoor Khan, you realize it's so hard for these Bollywood stars because they're in the spotlight 24/7. They have no privacy, they have so much paparazzi, so much. So if I had that, I would go crazy. I would be like angry sometimes. I would be, upset sometimes, but they're so positive when I've met the stars I've met, and I couldn't do what they do, and I have a lot of respect.
Always loved her since Jab We Met, the movie.
Oh yeah.
She's
the best, yeah. No, and she's just we're doing a really exciting event with her later this year, and she's just such a dream to work with. So it's been a dream come true working with Kareena.
Okay, so Akash, every businessman or entrepreneurs talk about their success.
Yeah.
Their shows on the Instagram, that how they became success. But what about you? What's your biggest regret in the journey?
Ooh, in Fable Mane's journey, or just in life?
All your life, since today.
I think my biggest regret is, and I say this very lightly, because I don't think it's a big enough feeling to have a regret, because anything I've done in the past and any mistakes I've made needed to happen to get to the state of mind I'm at now. And even today, the mistakes I'm currently making, I need to happen for me to grow and learn for the future. So always in hindsight, if you go tell me, would you eradicate that mistake or would you change things? I probably would say no.
Okay.
But I think it's the time taken to dwell on a mistake. So I remember when I failed my second year at uni, I was pretty, in my head at that time, depressed and crying a lot, and I didn't want to get out of bed a lot. And I remember feeling so sad, and I wish I just maybe didn't feel that for as long as I did, because ultimately right now it's the best thing in the world that I failed my engineering degree, because I went back and finished it, but still taking a year out gave me the clarity that I needed to do something else in life. And I wouldn't be
studies.
And I was a workaholic, so I was pretty good at studies. So for me, failing was the problem, because I was like,
You got
my second year.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was a 10 star student growing up, like GCSE A level. So to fail my second year, my brain was like, wait, what just happened? How did this happen? I spent
So
my
you
whole
from the
life.
squad of the people who drop out from the college and they become something bigger.
So
Are you in that
I'm
squad
in
as
the
well?
halfway school. I'm in the school where I still cared a lot about what my CV said. So I went back and finished my degree,
Yeah.
which I didn't need to, but I did just because I cared too much at that time what people thought.
Yeah.
And now I learnt the most important is sometimes when you fail, it's a lesson to be like, are you sure you really want to do this? Is this your path? Is this your purpose? And it's a gift from somewhere beyond you to be like, this is not a failure. This is a reminder to recalibrate, re-target your life to a new direction, which ultimately is a gift if someone could. I call it like, imagine you're in a race and you're blindfolded and you are about to start a new route and someone trips you over.
Yeah.
But actually that route has a dead end. You're lucky you tripped over and maybe it made you go back a bit and then go on the other route. Yes, you feel it's hard, you fell.
I think
but it's better.
every mistake you learn something.
100%.
And if you don't do a mistake, you're not the perfect.
Well, I think also, I guess the question to you is what is perfect, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's something as well, like it's about being happy with not necessarily having a result by the mistake, because sometimes that's our sense of righteousness saying, oh, I made a mistake. Okay, I need to now learn from it and be better.
Yeah.
That's better than saying I need to be, making sure I'm done the right thing, because ultimately we're allowed to make mistakes. Sure. We're allowed to not be sure of what we're doing in life. And I think that's what engineering taught me was like, no regrets. I needed to do it, but I'm okay to try something new.
Yeah.
And even now, like I'm doing the beauty and now I'm trying the conservation.
Like this, when I was a child and I used to make lots of mistakes.
Yeah.
But I would say my dad, he always used to tell me one word: anything that happens for a good reason. Mm-hmm. Be positive. There must be something coming good for you, or God decided something good for you. 100%. And I always believe. Since that day till today, I believe it, and I never criticize myself that I did a mistake. I say, I did something really great.
I think life is about finding tools, and you can get tools from a therapist or a coach. That's where I get a lot of my tools from. Yeah. But you can also get tools from your mistakes and your, traumas or anything that comes to you that you didn't plan. Yeah. Because you spending time to work on yourself and then learn from that is the best gift. Because I want to finish my time on this planet with as many tools and hopefully help as many people with those tools. But it's so hard to tell people because they have to really experience it. Yeah. And I think in life, you should never tell anyone what to do. You should just tell your own stories and let people, put it on a table, let people pick what they want and let them be inspired by that, because no one's going to listen to you if you're telling them what to do, because their story is unique, their life is unique, and their way of understanding information is unique. So my job in life is, coming on things like this, like a podcast, sharing stories, and ultimately people will take what they want from it. Yeah. But their journey is unique to them.
Akash, everyone see you as a successful entrepreneur.
Yeah.
But let's strip away your followers, your fame, your money, everything. How is Akash? Who is Akash Mehta according to you?
Okay, I'm quite clear in who I am. I am, as of today, I'm always evolving. I am a people pleaser. That's trying to work on that, because I think ultimately I want to be less of a people pleaser when it's not deserved. But I think ultimately I want to make people happy. So I think that's a good thing. I am very sensitive as a soul and want to make people not be sad. So often I tend to absorb that information and try to be a good friend to everyone I can be. I am a huge animal lover, of course. I think my love for sentient beings came from being a sensitive soul, and more love for animals is because humans can be quite mean sometimes and quite cruel. So I think animals never really let you down.
Yeah.
That's probably why I love wildlife so much. And I think I'm also someone who is quite adventurous. I push myself, I push boundaries, I work hard, I set myself new goals because I want to challenge the status quo. And especially being an Indian, and this goes to the whole of, I think the many South Asian cultures can connect to this too. We tend to have a lot of projections from a child growing up, a lot of like parental or aunties or uncles, points of views.
Yes, I want to ask you, every South Asian kid face this. Beta, get a safe job. Did you ever face that? Did any uncle or auntie said to you, Why are you doing this? Get yourself some better job.
You know what? I felt like you saw it in films, you saw it in conversations and dinner tables.
Yeah.
I had it less at home because I had such a, I want to say like Western-minded parents. Because, you know, my mom, she was, while they were born, my mom was born in India, my dad was born in Africa, but in Uganda. But my mom spent most of her childhood in like Germany, America. So she had this like Western mind, which was a lot more open. You know, my mom had a German boyfriend once. So, you know, that typical thing where an Indian parent and say, you know, remember, Indian only. And, you know, my mom, I could go to my mom and say, you married, you not married, you had a German boyfriend, remember? And she's like, yeah, fair enough. So I think like I had such a, quite a chilled family at home. They definitely had
your mom
very chilled, very like open, so cool. My dad is a little bit more of the old school mentality. So I think I had a bit of like, you know, challenges to like face him, to be like, hey, we don't say those things, or hey, you got to open your mind, open your heart. So they're always open for a conversation. But going to your question, like, you know, I heard a lot of this stuff growing up. And I think those projections became maybe trauma, or maybe ways of life that I understood was my existence. But, you know, after going to therapy, it made me realize that's not me. That was someone projecting their views on me. And I was watching that film for so long that I started to believe it. But ultimately, remind myself, that was just a film. That's not me. So actually, if I now start taking away all those things, I remember, oh, it's not that deep rooted in me, because that wasn't who I am as a soul. So today, I'm luckily able to move past those inhibitions that sometimes our culture can put on us, and closed mindset that happens a lot, especially in our culture.
Do you think in South Asian countries, like families don't care about the depression? They don't talk about the depression and all?
I think that it all comes down to this. In our culture, a lot of people care way too much about what people think. That's why everything happens. So I don't think it's as deep rooted as we are, you know, slightly racist because we want us to only marry our own culture, or we are slightly closed-minded because we want our kids to be the top in the class because it's a competitive spirit. That is nothing to do with actually our culture. It's nothing to do with who we are as humans. It's to do with, we just want to people please and we care what people think. I don't know why, but I think that comes from such a good place initially, because it comes from the way we know Indians especially are, which is family people. We are the most like family-centric, I would say one of the most family-centric cultures and in the world. You go to an Indian person's home, it's like, come home, eat, what are you going to have? Very welcoming. So we like having people around. We like making people happy. But because of that happiness, eventually over time we realize, are we doing it for the right reasons? Are we doing it because we really want them to be happy, or us to be happy? And that's okay too. But then over time, we can conflict that with work, with marriage, with jobs and all that stuff. And then we realize we're putting that into there. And that becomes maybe not the right intentions.
So Akash, you know, let's move on to the Fable fun.
Yes.
You've been to lots of places from that fun. You have seen lots of animals. Which was the most emotional encounter for you?
You know, it was a snow leopard. I have it currently. You can see it. I don't know if anyone will be able to see it, but this is a snow leopard
it's a beautiful picture.
It's like there. You can see that. I was 5 meters from a snow leopard, and I came out of my car, and you know, most big cats, you should not leave a vehicle, go close to it. This snow leopard, I was out of my vehicle at this time, 5 meters away, and I saw it. And I didn't run, and I wasn't scared because the snow leopard is the only big cat that can't roar. It's probably one of the most docile, calmest ones of the big cats. If it was a tiger, it would have ran to me. So this snow leopard just stared at me, looked at me, turned around, walked 2 meters, turned back, looked at me, probably checking, do not follow me kind of vibe, or just saying, you know, talking to me, I felt. And it was one of the most emotional moments I've had as a wildlife encounter, but also to paint the picture. I was in Ladakh. I was stuck there during this recent conflict that was happening, and the airspace was closed. I had to go back to London for an important work meetings, and the next flights keep on being delayed. So I decided to leave Ladakh and drive 30 hours to Delhi. It was quite scary.
How was it?
It was tiring. There was blackouts.
People love to go to Ladakh from Delhi to.
It's an amazing route if you don't have, there was drone strikes and potential, there was it wasn't safe as well. So it was a scary moment because the village, the Ladakh was blacked out, and I also just recently spent 2-3 days with the Champa people in the mountains, and I had a bit of altitude sickness. So it was a lot of energies, and it was a very tiring experience. And within 1 hour of driving, no one was with us in the middle of the windy mountain roads because we had to take a detour route inside because the roads were closed. We saw this leopard, and I felt it was like a gift, and it just healed me. And all the kind of illness and sadness and tiredness I felt, I instantly forgot. And I remember the next 26 hours, because it was like 4 hours in, the next 26 hours, I was still smiling. And I needed that gift. So, and it wouldn't have come if I didn't, my brain was like, how did this happen? People wait years to see a snow leopard. They camp for 30 days to see it 200 meters away in a zoom camera.
Yeah.
And I was 5 meters away. And I just couldn't believe it.
Akash, I feel very positivity from you.
Oh.
I don't know why. Even I met you first time, I felt so positive from you. How? And who's your inspiration for it? How you get this positivity?
I think I'm quite a spiritual person. Like growing up, my grandpa, my mom's dad, who's no longer with us, he was best friends with Osho.
Okay.
Grew up in Pune. My mom spent a lot of time with Osho, had a lot of learnings. Every car journey growing up in the car to school wasn't radios and music. It was Osho chants, and it was like lectures of his. At that time I was a bit like, please, can we play some pop music? But subconsciously I was listening. We would do Sunday yoga as a family. And I think being in a household that encouraged from a young age priority of mental health, physical health through the lens of spirituality and meditation and words of wisdom gave me a lot of grounding. And I think I've just had grounding since a child, and that's such a privilege to have. And I'm so grateful for my parents that I don't take things seriously. So when life happens and bad things happen and traumas happen and rude people come in your life and, things happen every single day, even in building Fable Mane, I have so much gratitude and grounding through that and calmness. So my team always say, how are you so calm and how are you so positive in the worst news of our life? And I'm like, because it's not that deep.
If you want to send one message to your mom, dad, and your sister, what will you send from this podcast?
I would say 2 things. I would say thank you for being the biggest mentors and rocks in my life, for grounding me every day. But ultimately, don't stop working on yourself, because sometimes I see my parents and they have problems today and they cry and they fight or they have issues. And I forget, hey, my job is also now to teach you. Maybe what you taught me 20 years ago, why are you not listening to today? You wouldn't have done that. Yeah. So sometimes we need to always remind ourselves life is a roller coaster. We are not always stable. We say things to people that we don't even listen to ourselves. Yeah. So I just want to remind them that I'm also here for them, and we got this.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
So Akash, from today, 10 years later, how do you want to see yourself? If someone check Akash Mehta on a Google or anywhere, how do you want to see yourself?
I definitely first want to say I don't want to know what I will see myself, because I love the unknown and I love knowing that.
You like privacy?
I don't mind privacy. I don't mind being public. I like that, but I like being more like let magic happen. Who knows?
Okay.
Like 10 years ago, I would never have said today, right? So if I say where I'll be in 10 years, I feel like my path will be more restricted and I'll start to work towards that. But sometimes the beauty is not having it planned and then therefore being open to all the options. But I think if I wanted to say something that's a bit more rooted in like kind of clear milestones, I would say I would love to have a family. I would love, because I think children are just the most beautiful thing. I would love to have had a successful fund that has deployed serious money. So, I have a goal to do $100 million by 2030 and 2040. I want to have more money deployed. And if I can help bring all those funds together through different ways, that would be a dream of mine, because I would love to have created the largest wildlife fund, but a wildlife fund that helps other wildlife charities. So I'm not just solo doing it. We're building the whole wildlife space together. Yeah. And I think I would love to also just be very fit and healthy and continue to like hike and gym and do sports and just be a healthy 40
So
whatever
what
year
you
old
like
self.
to do when you are free? You have nothing to do. What's
I
your
love
favorite thing?
hiking. Like I'm going to Kilimanjaro later this year.
Okay,
I just did
that's great.
Everest base camp. So hiking is a big passion of mine.
You like trekking?
Love trekking and hiking.
You should
yeah.
go to Mount Abu. Place
Yeah,
where I'm coming
I'm gonna.
from.
I already, I told
Go
you,
for it.
I'm doing
Go for
it.
it.
When I saw the videos you showed me, I was like, I need to go to Mount Abu.
Very beautiful place.
And I love when it's dense in nature. So I think that's the second thing I love to do is just be like in the wild, in the nature, with the animals, with the flora and fauna, biodiversity, and feel that kind of bathing of that natural sounds and environment. I also love games, a huge puzzle fiend. I love escape rooms. I love board games. I love video games, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And I think the last thing I love doing is kind of culturally growing. So watching great films, theatre productions, and going to museums. I love all of that.
That's great.
Yeah.
So Akash, let me tell you, I got one surprise.
Okay.
So from this video,
Yep.
if people are gonna share, subscribe it, and the more views we're gonna get,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do charity from that money.
Oh, amazing.
So if it's get like 1,000
Yeah.
views or
Amazing.
10,000 views,
Yeah.
from that money,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do the charity.
Oh, amazing.
That was my plan.
Okay, that's so true. Well, we'll have to make sure, guys, like, let's watch this, let's share this. But,
Yes,
but that's so cool. I see, I love impact through education. So more awareness, more views. This is why I'm filming a lot of content in the wild. I think it's important to raise
awareness
and donate in a fun, impactful, educational way.
So whatever we're gonna earn from this video,
Okay, amazing.
it's all for the charity I'm
that.
gonna do.
That's so
So
sweet.
Akash, before we finish,
Yeah.
what 3 advice would you like to give to the viewers or the young generation?
Again, I'm not going to say advice because I don't like giving advices.
Okay.
But I like telling 3 stories
Okay.
that I think I have realized has helped me a lot. One is don't react too quickly. Akash has done his best decisions and has been his true self when he's taken a moment to breathe. So take a moment to decide on the next chapter, take a moment to respond to the next person. Just take a moment.
Yeah.
And if you have the ability to be like, hey, thank you for your message, give me a day or 2, I'll get you my thoughts together. It's so much more powerful than saying, I can't believe you wrote this email, do not speak to me like that.
Yeah.
Because in 3 days, you'll be thinking differently once you've digested and reacted. So that's my number one thing that's helped me a lot today and why I stay positive. The second thing I think has really helped me is finding a purpose, because a life with a purpose is a life worth living and a life full of joy. Purpose is not creating shampoos and conditioners. Purpose is not making a lot of money. Purpose is beyond ourselves. And I think that's really important to do. And for me, it's wildlife. For you, someone else, it could be anything. It could be whatever. And no one should diminish what that value is. And I think my third thing is never stop having fun. I treat myself to one thing fun every single day. It's in my diary, because if I don't put it in my diary, so maybe it's going to a theatre production, maybe it's inviting a friend over for dinner, maybe it's going for a new experience, like trying candle making.
Yeah.
Every day I do something fun, because
And
every day is worth
keeps you
living.
positive, that keeps you alive, I would say.
It makes me work
Otherwise-
hard. It makes me excited to live every single day, because, and you can do every single day things for free. That's still fun. It doesn't have to be a luxury. But I would say doing it is important.
Thank you, Akash.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being on the Yogii Show.
Thanks for
It was
having
really
me,
nice talking to you.
Loved every second.
Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, because the more views we're gonna get, we're gonna do charity from this money. Keep liking, subscribing.